I'm not angry, I'm just looking at the door, knowing we can't stay here anymore. Hello. Hi, hi. Hi. It's Gab again, and this time it's gonna be another stream of consciousness type video, and it's gonna be my Wolf Den video. Yay, Wolf Den. I mentioned Wolf Den back in like my first video about like my 100 OCs. And right now I just am in like a creative rot a little bit. I cannot draw for shit, nor can I like write anything that I like. I keep like editing, and this is actually like my what second or third take with the video, and I'm just gonna go for it, and I'm like gonna have this be another stream of consciousness type of video because that's just my style of making these videos. Anyway, I just make these videos for myself and like to fall asleep to them and just kind of revisit like my ideas while I'm working on them. So this is gonna be the Wolf Den specific video. Next video I'm gonna talk about Theta Chi probably, and then next would be Whispering Grounds. That depends on my mood. But today we'll have the Wolf Den video. So what is Wolf Den? Wolf Den is a passion project that I've done ever since I was in fifth grade. It started way back in 2010. Back when I was playing with werewolf OCs, because I was really into like what's it called? Like lycanthropy, like the study of werewolves or something. And I was so interested in like pack dynamics and stuff. I never watched Teen Wolf. I might watch Teen Wolf now, but I've never watched Teen Wolf, so I was so surprised to find out that there were only like alphas, betas, and omegas, and like not the other archetypes that I have researched, but also I'm gonna like rant about them in a little bit. But yeah, I picked it up or this passion project started at fifth grade. I dropped it in high school because oh my gosh, it's so cringe, right? It's cringe to have like werewolf OCs, and like I could also like not draw. I was a little bit of a furry back then, but it's more of just like hybrids, fox girls. I could never draw men, and I always like draw cutesy, so they can never like be what I want them to be. And until now, I'm still like a very like my art style is definitely way more cutesy than it is realistic or like muscly. Um it's so not what the story needs to be, but I'm working on them anyway, and ever since I've drawn them, I am like so happy that they're just alive, and I'm so happy that like I can write about them freely. And yeah, that's because I picked it up in the year of our Lord 2026, wherein part of my therapy right now is just embracing the cringe and healing the inner child and all that. So like my creativity is just like off the roof at certain points. Right now right now it's kind of but like this past April my creativity has had like its renaissance a little bit, just because I'm finally embracing what I love and what I'm like passionate about, and like just slowly but surely trying to love myself in the way that I never allowed myself to, just because I think everything is cringe, but right now I literally like don't care. Yeah. So what's the progress of werewolf of like Wolfden right now? Wolfden right now is actually um gonna be a novel of mine, just because that way I can freely express like what I want to do with the story. And it right now it has like 3 books planned out, not written. I cannot go past chapter 7 for some reason of like my first book, because I just keep changing shit. But I have everything planned out, and I already have a timeline that I'm gonna show you like later with this fucking graph of mine. Like I have a whole timeline for it. But yeah, We'll we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, so the official book title for Wolf Den would be A Fox's Thorn. And the first book, just so it'll be an eye catcher, it's gonna be called Snow White and the Seven Wolves because I do have seven wolves in my story. And I just fell in love with the title and I want to just go with that theme. So you'll find out later that like my characters really like embody this theme. Embody. I might just it depends. But yeah, it's a catchy title, right? Snow White and the Seven Wolves. It's a cringy title, but it's a catchy title. And then next book two is The Crown and Seven Rebels. It's giving Akotar a little bit, and I kind of want it to be a little bit like Akotar, but I don't want. I'm still debating on it, right? I I really badly am so tempted to let it be like Akotar. I've only read like the first two books. Or I've read like the first book of Akotar and then like stop halfway on the second book just because my trial ended for Audible and I don't want to like do another rerun for it. But just man, I kind of fell in love Loki of that book and just having a lot of like people just kind of embrace their passions like that. It's really inspiring me and so um then birth Wolf Den. And but Wolf Den is gonna be like kind of a little bit of like it's literally like a guilty pleasure book. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk about whatever. So look at okay, so these are my characters that I build. It's only their headshots right now. I still haven't colored like my sketches for my Wolf Den boys. And the ones that I did color are already outdated in their design. So this is like their official design as of now. As of now. So I have my first characters. So back in fifth grade, actually, like the characters that I had were just these five boys. So as I mentioned before, I was really into like werewolf pack dynamics and the werewolf pack dynamics of alpha, betas, omegas. Those are the three known ones. And this is gonna be the alpha, this is my beta, and this is my omega. But what I really wanted with my own werewolf story back then is to include gamma as well as delta because like the gamma is like kind of the smart sarcastic one that's not really brute force and I really wanted like a non-brute force type of character so that birthed my gamma. And then I also want there to be a funny guy because I'm a sucker for fan or for funny guys. Okay, I'm such a sucker for funny guys, funny guys, funny guys. And that birth my delta. And right now as I keep progressing with the story, I also like incorporated the other archetypes of werewolf pack dynamics um which is the zeta and the sigma. I'm still in love with like what I did. This is gonna be my female lead, which is the fox girl that I also like did back in fifth grade. So she's kind of like here, but she like changed so much since her original conception. That's why she's kind of a new character for me. And then this character is just an extra. We're not really gonna talk about him, but he is important in the story. Maybe for later, so I'll just keep him there. I'll revisit like that this panel later just so I can remind everyone what they look like as I discuss them. But yeah, let's go through like all the characters. So first we have our alpha. Our alpha is Adam. Adam is 28. You know what? Here. Literally I have everything. Okay. So Adam is 28 years old. He is an alpha. He's 6'4". He has golden eyes, uh black hair, long cut. This is a wolf cut. Um and then he has broad shoulders and a thick neck or jagged scar because it's gonna play into the story later. And his wolf form is a black timber wolf, like this wolf form, golden eyes. Like that's what you need to know about Adam. His vibe is that he's kind of like the no nonsense kind of disciplinarian. So um he smells like charred cedar, and then his like speech patterns is just sorry here. And his speech pattern is like short and declarative. Like he's a man with few words, right? He has the alpha voice, and he's like really really powerful, and he's been through a lot. He's my trauma character. If I you know that vibe, right? Like we need a trauma character. He's my like number one trauma character, which I'm gonna talk about later. And like he the way he speaks is just very like authoritative, very final. And yeah, I don't need to talk about those details. Those details are just fluff. Like everything here is just fluff. So I don't need to talk about like those details. And next we have Beck. Beck is my beta, green eyes, chocolate wolf, like the thinner than this for sure. Like I wanted Adam to be like the biggest werewolf just because he is the alpha. And I saw like a graph that alphas usually have like red eyes just because they have like that connection to like the red moon or whatever. But I'm not about that shit. I want him to have golden eyes. So he has golden eyes. Beck has the green eyes because he's the one who's like most in tune to nature a little bit. He is my vanguard and like the one that supports, right? The one that cooks, the one that fixes the house, furniture, every like maintenance job. Beck is your guy. Um and he's also like the healer before. So like he is like first aid type of character. And he has dimples and kind eyes and a charming smile. Like the hometown like loves him. He has a sort of a hallmark city, like a small town hallmark guy vibe. And he's 26, so 2 years younger than Adam. See, 26. Okay, next we have Oscar. Oscar is my, you know what, let's do this there. And I should check. Yeah, okay. It's reflecting. Good. Okay. Let's have this first. Let's freeze you. Mm, okay. Hold on. Let me work something out. View, freeze, one column. There you go. Then do that again. Did you know you can do this in Fire? No! Come on. Did you know that you can do this in Opera GX? Oh my gosh. It's such a annoying little function, but at the same time it has helped me with like my art stuff in the past. Watch me struggle. There you go. Okay. Is that better? Yeah, it is. It's a little better. Okay. So Oscar is 25. Let me check. Okay, good. Oscar is 25. He is our hunter or assassin. Um yeah, don't mind the skin color. Like the skin color right now that I have for them is just everyone's tan because everyone, it's fine. I might change it. Depends. But yeah, he has brown hair, effortlessly like wavy. I want him to have like that sexy femme fatale kind of vibe, like the one that like he's also like a smoker. He's just so hot and sexy, right? So he's the omega of my pack, and instead of like the submissive omega that is characterized nowadays, omegas before in like the Slykan lore is the like the sort of the lone wolves of the pack, the one that like hangs at the back and doesn't necessarily agree with the alpha's takes, or at least like he has his like own type of world and own type of values, and I wanted Oscar to embody that type of personality. That's why he's the type of he's the assassin of the group, and you'll find out why as well later in his backstory. um he does hang out like at the back, and the reason why he used to be a black wolf as well before, because omegas are typically um described as a black wolf, but I kind of fell in love with him being tan, because he with him I wanted him to be like a lazy type of hunter or a lazy type of predator, kind of a late lazy jester type of thing. So yeah, he's the sarcastic one, he's the one that cracks jokes. And he's just really, really predatory and really, really deadly. Um and yeah, that's my omega there. So he has a swimmer's build, half lid, and uh he smells like tobacco because he smokes, and then he has like mask insults like this is like his typical line. So easy there. He calls you a rabbit, he calls everyone a rabbit. And yeah, slithering liquid, or he has like a the type of walk that Oscar has is just like kind of really, really smooth, and like he's kind of dragging his feet, but at the same time he's like not lazy, not like unconfident about it. Like the way he drags his feet is more so just to get him like, how do I describe this? It's kind of like uh torso first type of like walking. It's in my mind, and I really want to animate it if I knew how to animate it, but yeah. And since we have this set up, let's just go through Adam a little bit. So Adam's like walking style is deliberate and like just boom 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 type of walking style. Um he just demands authority every time he enters the room. And yeah, that's his speech patterns. He smells like cedar. Uh what else? Did I miss anything? I did not miss anything. Okay. And then for Beck's scent is that warm sage and kind of like a kitchen home type of like scent, or uh, again like a small town type of set, because he does go to the small town a lot, and his speech is very like warm and very rhythmic and just comforting. I want him to be a man of comfort. I want him to be a big burly man of comfort. That's just what I want Beck to be. And yeah, his walking style is gliding and purposeful. Like he's kind of like a little bit of um he's there for support. So he's a little bit like more stable. And he's honestly like the most stable since he is gonna be the vanguard of the group. And yeah, next we have Gibson. So Gibson is my gamma. He is also like my genius or strategist, and he has an acrobat build. It's important to me that you know this. I should have like placed a picture of what an acrobat build is like, right? But it's fine. Acrobat build is kind of like everything is muscly, but like lean, like very lean. Think Robin or Nightwing type of build. And then aristocratic nose and a sharp jawline. And then um his shift vibe is that he's symmetrical, he smells like old parchment and cold stone. Uh his speech pattern is kind of a robot. At the same time, he does like like he's kind of like, I kind of want him to be to give a little bit of autistic vibes. um just a little bit of autism for him, which is most of the time it's like efficient type of talking, but when he gets really excited he just like mumbles like something about that. Yeah, that is Gibson. Next, we have David, my baby boy. My baby boy David, he is my Delta. As I said, my Delta is my funny guy. And David is my funny guy. He's my golden boy. He's my scout, my mediator. He's a ball of sunshine. He is just a golden boy. And I'm in love with this character. But unfortunately he does act more as a supporting role for the story, but he's still fine. I found this picture. This is like from a series of pictures by the way, that I found on Pinterest. You saw that a little bit there. And Delta's had like orange eyes. I didn't want to have him have orange eyes just because it's gonna affect like a lot of my other stories. So I just made him have brown eyes that turns like electric orange when he shifts. And why is it still green? He's still brown. There you go. And yeah, dirty blonde hair, shaggy, sun-kissed with freckles because he's my freckled little boy and he has a golden smile. His shift vibe is that he's static. He is the fastest runner. Once you like see him, like here, his like speech patterns is that he's just very excitable. Like, hey, 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 did you see that? Want to see how fast I can run? Like he talks like that. It's kind of like my own talking style a little bit. Whenever I get excited, I don't talk to like this normally. Only like when I do get excited. But I just want him to be excited with life, excited with everything, and just be a really like appreciative boy. He is the heart of the pack, and even though he's not, he was the one who has been the youngest for like a long time before the two younger brothers came in. He was like the younger brother, that's why he still gives younger brother type of energy, and he's just bouncy and relentless. And I'll talk about like their whole history and backstory as I go through later. But yeah, let's just finish like my other characters first. um Next we have Zachary Zeta. He used to be a Sigma and he used to be named Simon, but I just cannot justify um the Sigma archetype to be what I wanted to be. And then again, I found this picture in Pinterest wherein they had like a Zeta type role, but I didn't want him to have brown eyes, so and since he has alpha blood, I made him have the red eyes, therefore going with the red requirement. It this and his wolf is also like more muscly and more like mass because of that dormant alpha energy. But it's just way more red than this. This one is chocolate brown for now, but it's way more red. Um, his wolf, it's supposed to be. And he is the brawler or enforcer type, as Zetas do. Um yeah, he's lean as 19, he is like he's a lot smaller than 19, and then he does have a growth spurt when he turns 21. He has a scar, and he has a permanent death glare, or a board glare. He is loud, and like he's just like very like cynical and suspicious, like whatever. Why do you keep talking to me? Stop talking to me. He's kind of like that type of the character, and he's sharp and defensive. Yeah, and then next we have Soren. Soren is our new Sigma. He used to be the Iota Wolf, because and Iota Wolves don't exist. Like it was supposed to be like my own original concept, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I just cannot justify it in my head that I will like stray away from the normal. I do want, and like he does fit the Sigma archetype a little bit more, because Sigmas, right? Sigmas are like just silent workers, and Soren, if anything, Soren is definitely like the silent worker, and it honestly just fits his character, because he did grow up, like for the first 12 years of his life he did grow up as human, so he's not necessarily as like in touch with just the whole pack dynamics thing as much as like the others, so he doesn't necessarily care about it. He's more like scholarly. He's just like a kind of a loner type of wolf. At the same time, he helps out a lot. Like he is the most in tune with nature. He is the support, as I've said here, and he is the lore keeper. I'm still not entirely sure about that, because I do want him to be like a specialist type of healer as well. Like I kind of want Beck to be the first aid, but he would be the one who would like really be on top of like major injuries. He'd be the one who would help, and his hobby is like painting. He has like watercolor stuff, and right now he is the youngest at 19. I know that Simon, sorry. I know that Zachary and Soren are both 19, but Soren is definitely younger than Zachary. So yeah, we'll have that. Actually, we can have him be 18 for the majority of the story. I have to like update a lot of it, but it's fine. Yeah. This is his hairstyle. I don't know how to describe it, but that's his hairstyle. He has the otter's build. The otter's build is basically like he doesn't look buff at all until like he takes off his clothes, because everyone should be buff. It's a werewolf story, and again, I told you it's a guilty pleasure story, and everyone should be buff. I just don't know how to draw buff men. I don't know how to draw muscles, bro. Biceps, triceps. What the hell is that? What the hell is a deltoid? I just want him to be buff. I'm in my manic episode, I think, but it's fine. Um, but yeah, he's silent, observing. He has a calming type of energy, wherein he's a type of like person, or he's just a type of aura. The vibe that he gives is um he will accept you in whatever state you're in. He won't try to move you. He won't try to like heal you. He's not the type of healer that he is. He's not like a earthy type of healer. He's more just an accepting type of healer. He's kind of like a mirror in that way as well. So yeah, he's like mostly like blurry and like ghostly type of character, and it's getting hot here. I'll be honest with you. I am dressed. I might take off my jacket in a little bit, and just a little quick. Okay, wait. Let me finish Soren's character before I go into a tangent. Yeah, he's a phantom. He smells like cold river stone. Yeah. And then his speech pattern is just kind of okay, he like just mirrors everything, right? Like that's his like whole character. But he also isn't he also is the type that would be able to voice out his concern and voice out like the contradictions of like the alpha's commands. He's not afraid basically to point out what's wrong. And since he doesn't really speak as often, whenever he says something, it's like it has weight to it, kind of like a sage character a little bit, or not a sage character, what's it called, um what's it called, the one that like gives you advice, whatever the character type is, that's his like character trope. Did I mention I love character tropes? I love character tropes, bro. And like all of my characters are just character tropes with just a little bit of a twist. Just a little bit of a twist. And that's enough to like make me fall in love with all of them. Next, last but not least, we have Reverie. Reverie is my female lead. She is 18 when the story starts, and she's the Luna of the group because we have our seven boys. So she's my Snow White. She's my Glitch, and yeah, she has the reason why she's the Snow White is because she is her hair is a white as snow, and her skin is porcelain. That's just my little twist for Snow White here. Like everything is white except for like her irises, which is blue, and her face is like perfectly symmetrical, and then she has a cupid's bow um to her lip, making her look like, I just want her to look like a doll, like a perfect like prey fragile little doll. And but she just has the eyes of a predator, and she's a feisty little fucker. um so her wolf form is this form, but just with like fox ears, so this needs to be like pointier ears. And I'm gonna draw, I don't know how to draw foxes for my life, but I will learn how to draw foxes, god darn it, just because I want these characters to live. Or maybe I'll commission someone to draw my character soon. We'll see. And then this would be with pointier fox ears, and then it's gonna be like tainted with black tuff, and then also with like foxtail, and then she would have like the fox gloves on her paws and stuff. And she smells like white pepper and wild honey. She's independent, mischievous. She acts more like a fox than a wolf, like in the throughout the story. So this she is my protagonist of the story. So we'll follow her as she discovers and like integrates into the werewolf pack. Um, so that she would learn about her wolf side, because she started off just like relying on her fox a lot. And she's the audience surrogate a little bit as well, right? To like know about like werewolf dynamics and all that jazz, and to fall in love with my characters that I build up so much because I just love them. Anyway, next topic is about the surrounding territories. Let me do this again. Ah, no, not that. You freeze one column. There you go. Okay, so okay, I can't. It's so hot. There. And hey, visual cue, right? Just to let you know that the sorry, whatever. It's a shirt. I swear, it's a shirt. Not that anyone cares. Anyway, yeah. So this is their world right now. This is the surrounding territories. Should I mention about them now? I should. It's fine. Um, let's see. Can I do that? Mm, Nah, let's do that still. Okay, so this is like what their house is like right now. Um, this is gonna be the Central Territory, so it's more of a lake, and like yeah, the alpha leader is Adam Thorne. And then his age is 28. His pack size is just seven brothers for now, plus Reverie when she gets there. And the economy of their world is that they're kind of like whoever doesn't belong to the surrounding packs, like the surrounding cities of like the north, south, east, west, they go to the Central Territory and they can freely hunt there, but like not too much. Like it, Adam's just kind of the overseer of the Central Territory because it was inherited to him by his father who was the previous alpha, and we'll talk about that soon. And yeah, the way they greet is that they adjust to everyone. Okay. So the thing about the Central Territory is that it was once considered as no man's land after the death of their former leader, or their former alpha, Elias Thorne. He died after the Silver Rain incident that wiped out the elders of the Central Pack. They used to be a powerful group, but they dispersed into rogue packs after the leadership crumbled, leaving the two orphans to fend for themselves. And the two orphans are gonna be Adam and Beck, as we find out later once we get to the timeline. Next, we have the Northern Territory. So this is the. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. There. The Northern Territory is the city. So city vibes. Bah. Ah, come on. Whatever. It's the city vibes. It has the most werewolves at 1,200 werewolves, but it's highly like urbanized and highly managed. Like every wolf there has a tag, and this is also where Reverie is from. As well as Oscar, which we'll talk about. So they have like their tags, and then their relationship with the Central Territories, that they're hostile because of stuff. How the wolves greet each other is with a formal bow. They board the borders is like lined silver fences, and then their primary motivation is that they're greedy. They're the main like villains of book one, not book one, sorry. They're the main villains of books two and book three for sure. Two and three for sure, because they're after Reverie because of stuff and stuff. Um, yeah, their weakness is overpopulation. So some notes about the Northern Territory is that they have a city and they're two, supposed to be three. Sorry, there. They have a 3 hour. Oh no, maybe there. You go. They are a 3 hour drive from inside the border. They mingle well with the city folk. When a werewolf there isn't accounted for, it's kind of like too much of a scandal. So they handle it, and it's usually by execution or exile. They're brutal like that. They appear to rule over humans, but they also are secretly controlled by the powerful humans. They have the higher ups of an upper have an understanding. So I don't know. It's just a typical like northern type of villain shit because I don't have a particular twist to it yet. It's just I might develop like northern characters soon, but as for now, I'm gonna stick with the characters that I have because they are developing as I go. But I'm already thinking about like other wolves or other elders from the Northern Territory, but the definite high alpha of the North is Valerius, and they're kind of like the kings of the world right now that I build here. They have the most resources, they have like the biggest pack, so that's just them. Next, we have the Southern Territory, which is here. The Southern Territory is the small town type of vibe. Just 250 wolves. All of the wolves are purebloods, or like they have um they're pure werewolves. That's kind of their thing there. They don't mingle with humans. The North does have some like like half werewolf, half human, so they're really like organized there in the city, and they have like specific hunting grounds for the wolves to like run, but it's mostly like highly urbanized. With the South does have a town over, but he it's like it's just kind of um they're like when you think of like werewolf lore and like werewolf sightings, it's probably like from the South. That that sort of vibe, you know. Um and yeah, they're the traditionalists, and we are allies. We, the the center territory, we are allies with the South, and we greet each other with a firm handshake. It's just that they're very strict with their own like traditional lifestyle, but they are friendly enough with, well, with other tribes. And yeah, their weakness is stagnation or inbreeding, since they, you know, pure blood type shit. But it's fine. They have a small town, a 30-minute drive. They maintain neutral to friendly terms with the townspeople. The townspeople have urban lores and sighting of these wolves. The human are our neighbors. That's their whole relationship with humans. Right. And then next we'll talk about the East. The East is like our barren lands a little bit, but at the same time there are like trade dealers. Um so the motivation for the East is profit slash neutrality. It's also about survival. They have the neutrality pack, which is once you go to the East, so since like the North and the South is like the most powerful ones, they don't necessarily go to the center, just because the center before was the no man's land, so they usually go to the east. And once you get to the east, like everything is peaceful, like no blood. So with the east, the theming of the east is that there's no blood, werewolf blood to be shed here, whereas the west is like everything is blood, kind of. Just a little like note for future gap there. So yeah, unfortunately the east also has like uh has no natural resources. Like they don't have a forest, they don't have they only have like a small waterfall, and they it's mostly like rocks and barren land there for they need to trade. So it's trade or starve. However, they do have a monopoly on silver, and like how like the werewolves would defend themselves as well as attack. So they have that higher up there. And yeah, usually only deals with transactions or efficient traders. They are known as the only ones who know how to refine the silver out of the earth. They are the only ones who can provide silver gilded weapons or armory. They typically don't interact with humans. That's their whole vibe. I do like the East. I'm planning to have a side character as well, that is from the East, that they can interact with aside from the Alpha Silas. Maybe like Silas's kid or something. I don't know. Kael is definitely someone who we interact with like a lot, just because you'll find out later. Sorry. Then last we have the West. The West. Oh yeah, did I mention? Yeah, it's just 150 wolves. So literally, like that's the contrast between everyone. The Central only has 7. The East has 150 to 50, There's also like the contrast with their age. You know what? I think I'm done with you. Okay. There. So they also have like the contrast with their age. The North is like the most oldest of the group. I know that I could age them up even more just to make it more fantastical, but in order for it to make sense in my brain, I these are the ages that I want them to be. You know what? We can make him 50. It's fine. It's fine. Like, okay, but Kyle's definitely 45 and Silas is definitely 42. Yeah, that's fine. And Adam is 28. Youngest. Everyone thinks he's like kind of a legacy type of vibe, you know. And yeah. We don't know they're like so unregistered, so we don't know the size of the West, but that's definitely the feral one, and I am planning in book 4 to explore more of the West, or just I kind of just want a wild card just in case I want someone who's like savage and just that kind of side of werewolves wherein you're not diplomatic, because these three are relatively diplomatic werewolves and the West is just not. So like most of the rogues are from the West, kind of like the big bad type of vibe. It's fine. Side note, I did lay out their cabin, so this is what their cabin looks like. I know. It's so I don't have a drawing of it and I can't like steal a drawing of it because I have a specific layout of like what their living situation is like. So it's this basically. It's this type of housing a little bit. However, it's just this is how it's laid out. So we have the porch there, we have our fishing dock, and we have the lake. We have a tool shed, and we have the main cabin. These lines represent the door. So you enter here, you exit there, or you enter there, you exit there. Type shit. And then this is like the first floor of the cabin. So this is it's still the porch. So after the porch, you'd have your mudroom, which is just kind of where the shoes or whichever you'd have like your storage there, faucet, boots or tools there in that, and then this is the mudroom and this is the fireplace and this is like kind of a chill hangout spot that they would sometimes. It's kind of connected to the living room, but it's like a step into the living room. So this is a lower ground type of, it's like a half step lower. It's not a full floor lower. It's just like probably like 3 inches or 2 inches. Not 3 inches. What? 2 feet. A feet or 2 feet separation from the mudroom to the proper living room. But this is also where like you can chill in the fireplace if you want to. Um, just because I like the aesthetic a lot. And then you have the living room, and then the living room would have all like the chairs and the sofas here. We have our map wall here for like um Gibson's whole cartography stuff. And then once you enter, the first thing you'd notice is definitely the kitchen. And then you have like a big dining room. Say dining room, but it's not necessarily a room. It's just a dining area, and then you'd have your communal shower. I don't want there to be like an individual shower bath. I kind of want it to be um like I'm imagining it. I'm imagining the cabin to be made for wolves, and they're not necessarily interacting with humans a lot, just because it's really like an hour trip to the town of the humans. So it doesn't make sense why they would like make it be more human like. So this is just a cabin that accommodates their human side, but at the same time it's more just um for the wolves type of um area. That's why we have our communal shower instead of like private baths. And then we'd have the stairs by the dining area. And then we have a loft. Once you like go upstairs, this is gonna be the second story. So the second story is just a tiny area. And this is the communal bedroom slash loft wherein everyone sleeps. So you'd have your cots there. There's no like individual rooms as I've said. So literally you can go like if you want to, you can go through like the fishing dock here and then go up the stairs and then just go to the small balcony and sleep in the bedroom. Like that's how like I want it to be like. And this would create tension with Reverie on the first like nights of the story. That's why but she has like a little like um little eaves or just basically kind of a corridor above um kind of like a crawl space above like by the roof there, and that's where she resides, and that's where her her like foxy needs are met. um but eventually she does also sleep with the brothers soon, but for like the first nights and definitely like for the first book, this is gonna be her sleeping area here. And then we have a small balcony which is like hobby room. There's a reading area here, and I kind of want like if ever someone is gonna be entering here, whoever is in here can just go out to the balcony and then just see everything except for like they don't see whatever happens here in the dining area, but they would at least hear or see a little bit of it. So it's all like open space, and I kind of am imagining the type of house to be kind of that type. Did I mention I was an architecture student for one sem? And this is the best I can do because I cannot draw floor plans and unless it's like in the program, and the program always like crashes on me. But it was fun. Architecture is fun, guys. It's just stressful. But yeah, that's the whole thing. And we have our the next I'm gonna talk about is the timeline of events. And I would have to pause a little bit. Okay. If you can keep up, then I'm happy for you. But if you can't keep up, that sucks for you. Whatever. Um, I planning to like rant about them again in like a proper video where I'm like drawing everyone. I hope so. Kind of like a Prisms type of video, just talking about like the concept and the OCs and stuff. But for now we have that. And it's fine. Anyway, so this is my timeline right now, and we're 15 years into everything. But yeah, right. Okay, there you go. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so let's talk about the timeline. Shall we? Do I need to do this still? Nah, I'm fine. Eh, split happens. Har har, hardy har. Do that. Okay, there. Okay, so you're not here yet. Um, you're not here yet. Let's have. Okay, at first there were two wolves. Okay, wait, hang on. Let's do that. There you go. Okay. Okay. So year zero, not year zero, year before. So this is like the chronological timeline. It's not gonna be how the story is gonna progress. So I'm basing like the flashbacks and like their history on this. And I'm gonna it's fine. I I have a whole plan for it. It's fine. but yeah, I have a whole plan on like how I would write the novel, and it's also how I've been writing. But again, I need to just lock in and just type this shit because all of the scenes and the character moments and the character beats are in here and are in here, but they're just not organized enough. If anything, I'm just gonna fucking commission someone to write my book for me or like sell this concept idea if if like anyone is interested. But for now, we have this. So yeah, the year before is an orphan Beth follows Adam as like his big brother since birth. So literally puppy Beck. 2 years apart, ever since so Beck's like parents died at birth, and therefore Elias kind of took him as a surrogate son, and he's been beside Adam all throughout his life. And then in the when Adam was 15 and Beck was 13, the Silver Rain occurred, which is the tragedy that just crushed the Central Territory. And yeah, Elias dies, leaving a grieving Adam. And the humming of the morning mountain haunts the ground. So the humming of the morning mountain, that was just 15-year-old Adam's like mournful voice. They didn't know that at the time, but there was like a hum whenever you go to the Central Territory. They would think of it as a haunted grounds because of that's just how powerful Adam's voice was during like his reign, not his reign, during like his mourning, that literally the north, south, and the east agree that the Central Territory would be no man's land, which is kind of they're kind of treating it as an extension of the west a little bit, but it's still like is kind of like free game. From then you can take like resources from the um center territory and stuff. So yeah. Okay, so year one after like so literally like during this time period, by the way, Beck has been feeding Adam because Adam just refuses to move. He just wants to die because his family died and he watched his family died. And Adam um made sure that Beck didn't see the tragedy and like how they Adam literally like shielded Beck from the rain. That's why Adam's the one with the scars. Um but they both like hide, and Adam is like being the bigger brother. He did protect Beck like during that time, and just basically Beck um sorry, I'm powering down. I'm getting hungry. Um Literally Beck is just a a pup, and then Adam was his protector, but then once Adam like finds out that everyone died, Adam just kind of uh became a ghost, a shell of a ghost of himself, and then Beck stepped up and like forced himself. Beck isn't like the greatest hunter. He's such not a hunter at all, but he forced himself to chase like the bunnies, the wild boars, just so he would be able to feed Adam, and that's how Adam survived, and that's how those two survive. And then through Beck's like nurturing and just insistence of not letting Adam die because god damn it, he's the only family he has left. Adam steps up as well and like you know, hunts with him eventually. And that's like the first like trauma trauma bond of my brothers. Because again, no, because again, Adam is the uh stop, go away. Okay. Adam is my trauma character, right? So there's that. Anyway, next we have Oscar, and Oscar joins the party. Woohoo! So Oscar is my lazy just so Oscar resigned from the Northern Territory because he was too lazy. He's like such a gifted assassin that they made him work a lot, but he just got fed up with like the rules and everything. He literally just wants to retire even at 13, right? He's like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing child labor. You're child labor." He's literally like making him do everything, and he just thinks it's not worth it, and he thinks he's arrogant enough to think that he can survive on his own, and he did survive on his own for a little bit as like a rogue, because he's just that skilled at hunting. And yeah, uh Oscar and Adam found each other when they hunted for the same game, and they had like that mutual respect for each other once they encountered each other. And yeah, they earned their respect. Shelter for the winter for a blade. This means Adam would provide the shelter, especially in like the winter seasons, because winter would be really harsh, and Oscar already knows this. He already has been like, it's been really hard. It's been okay for him so far, but it's the fall, so it's still like, but the weather is like getting colder. Therefore, he does agree to stay with them for the winter, and it was supposed to be just for the winter, but then um eventually like the brotherhood just solidifies, and just Oscar's too lazy to go away, and he eventually lets Adam mark him as a part of their pack, as officially a part of their pack, um so that uh and Oscar just promises that whatever they need to hunt, they will hunt, he will hunt for them. um and yeah, they just have that respect. This guy also like is still like nurturing Oscar, but it's definitely more like this type of brotherhood here. So let's have it that way actually. So yeah, they have a bromance thing going on. They also have a bromance thing going on. These two not so much, but it's fine. When I say bromance, I literally mean bromance, right? Like I know I'm a Federoshi and stuff, but it's fine. They're just close, basically. They're close. They're like equals and stuff. Whereas like Adam kind of sees Beck as a little brother still. These two, they treat each other as equals, but he's like not dominant enough of a personality to really go against Beck. So they're also technically these two are equals, but when it comes to like skills and hunting stuff, these are equals. So let's have it there. Let's have it there. And then Beck finds David as like a pup. He's literally like just 9, and it's like almost dying, and it's the winter. So Beck is like, "No, I need to keep him. I need to nurse him." Like he's an orphan, right? So him David being like a sad boy and like being like a runt, literally being okay, let's have a smaller David. Like he would be sorry. I'm having fun. So Becca's like, no, I need to keep him. Like I'm gonna feed him. He's gonna be a big boy, I swear. And then Oscar, these two are like against it, but eventually they don't really. Oscar, Adam is like, um eventually he's like, fine, let's keep this little runt. And then yeah, it's just Beck's personality for now, and then it's that type of stuff. Okay. And then next, Gibson also like wanders into the territory because he's also tired. He was rebelling from the east because he didn't want to be a middleman worker, and because he was far too genius for it. Therefore, and he found a pack of four, and fascinated by the statistical error of them, he joined because he knows he'll never be born again. He's like, what the hell is all of this? This is, I don't understand. Like that, I kind of want that to be Gibson's vibe. And since he's like 12 years old, right? So let's have him like be that. Like, you guys are teenagers. You are a teenager. Why are you caring for this little runt? Ah, you need help. Like kind of like that. So I started ordering like everyone around, and since like he went rogue as well, they kind of, he made them like be his workhorse, especially David. Um so he kind of like ordered them around, like, you go fetch this, you go fetch this, and they're kind of annoyed with them, but at the same time, like, this guy in particular has a soft spot um for uh for strays. Therefore he's like tolerating him. Beck as well, Beck has a soft spot for Trace, so they're tolerating him. This guy is like, eh, eh, eh. He, his orders make sense, bro. And so he just follows him because even though Gibson is like a little rascal, his orders do make sense. And then David is just like, yay, another big brother. And so he's like, yo, Scout, fetch that for me. Then David would be like, wee. No, David would be like, wee, and he just fetch everything for Gibson. Yeah. So David's kind of like the heart of the group. He's just happy to be in a found family because he was abandoned by his like older family. So him being like the little brother made solidified him as being like the heart of the pack. So yeah, David was slowly becoming the best scout thanks to the primal instincts combined with the boundless energy from Beck's nurturing. Yeah. And then they decide to build the cabin. So it's still them for like a long time. So how many years is this? Like from year 2 to year 6. So what's that? 4 years? For 4 years. Um it's just been them 5. And since it's like the growing years, um it's how like there. I'm having fun, bro. Are you having fun? I'm having fun. So it's that kind of. So yeah, they have like the cabin plans, and then they build the cabin. And then Adam at 21, he's like now the alpha. So he's like a big adult. Like, oh my gosh, I'm 21. These guys are still teenagers here, so let's lower them down a little bit. Kind of, so that it's like, oh my gosh, alpha energy. And yeah, Rary also had her first chef at age 11, but weren't. It doesn't have. This was the year of like the solar eclipse, like a total like solar eclipse. Wherein I think like the sky turned violet or something supernatural like that, that signaled the shift in power. And it's the type of solar eclipse that only happens every 10 years. So this is like the first, um in year 6 is the first like year for them. So every had like her first shift at age 11, and it's a whole thing um that I kind of don't want to talk about because I'm tired. But yeah, man, I'm hungry. It's fine. Um, I'm definitely eating after this. What time is it? 5. Yeah, should order. I don't want to order. Seeing the success, favored, blah 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 blah. It's where Kael enters, and Kael is just like another the Alpha Kael is the Southern Alpha, and he approached Adam in order to adopt Zachary. Zachary enters the group as a tiny kid, and like Adam is like, "What? You're gonna um off Kael offered the backing of Adam since he is 21 now, therefore he is like at the height of his like alpha surge. It's unheard of to have an alpha at 21, but he's like known as an adult now because in my series, by the way, in my series here, you don't mature at 18, you mature at 21. That's just like my own like werewolf law in this particular series. So Adam being 21, he's recognized as a man. And then Kyle offered backing in reclaiming Elias and yeah, it's also when Adam attended the council as No Man's Land. Um, Zachary is Zachary, by the way, like Kael loves Zachary to heart, but literally Zachary just burns Forrest because he's just that much of a menace. At 12, his like temper is like out of this world. He literally is like starting forest fires. So the the council of the south wanted him to be exiled, so instead of being exiled he was just dumped into the central territory, and eventually he does find respect with Adam, um and Kael also like this way Kael would be able to visit Zachary and see how he's doing, and Zachary would be such a puppy to Kael, but at the same time he's loyal to Adam because he is the alpha. He's definitely the alpha, whereas Kyle is just kind of like the father figure a little bit. It makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, the South backed them up. The East stayed neutral, and the North begrudgingly agreed. The Thornback can now freely trade and hold land, granting protection and thrive. David is ecstatic to have a younger brother. He's like, finally, I can be big bro to this kid. Ah, yeah. And then Beck also like became a regular on like town trips, so he would be able to like pick up supplies and like improve on his cooking as well as pick up like Oscar's Oscar's tobacco because Oscar has picked up smoking during this time as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing else significant there. And then during the supply run, since they uh okay, so during the supply run, so they're the ones who are like deep in like they're just solitary like in the mountain, right? Whereas this guy is kind of like there. He's just there. And he's like, ah, training buddy. Yeah, training buddy. He's like, ah, Gurger. And then this guy is the one who's like gonna go out to the town and then going back to the town. Sometimes it would be these two. They would go and then come back, kind of that vibe. But for now it's like these two first. Actually that let's have it be there. So that's kind of like the hierarchy now. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the hierarchy now. So Beck is like the overall support to the group, so he's there. And then he goes to the town, and then he picks up little Soren. Need to be. So he picks up little Soren, or he doesn't pick up little Soren. He just like Soren's just fascinated. He's human, right? But he's fascinated and be like, why do you make sense? Why does this guy every time he goes to this town, he makes sense to me? And therefore he like snuck into Beck's house, and then Beck returns home, and then Oscar is like, wait, this doesn't make sense. And then they found Soren, and then they're like, Oscar Adam's like, what is happening? And then Soren is like, rah, I'm a wolf. And literally had his first shift. And now um afterwards, um Becca's like, we should probably keep him, and Adam is also like, yay, another little brother type shit. But then Adam is like, no, I need to return him to the south. And then Adam tries to return him to the south, but the south literally like rejects um Soren. So Adam is like, fine, you know what? Whatever strays go here, we're gonna take care of them. And so Soren became the additional younger brother, still under like David's tutelage. So that's the hierarchy now. Okay, let's have it be here. So that's the hierarchy now, and then like that. So that's like the dynamic now. It's like, yeah, and also like uh there and there. So Soren's the actually there. He would go help out here, go help out here. Not not there necessarily. Help out here, help out here, help out here, help out here, and then they would be roommates as well. So they're like bonding together because they're the same age. Hey, uh that's pretty much uneventful. And then yeah, that's the whole history, and that's how like my seven boys became to be. Then they grow up a little bit, so they're still like small. And then Reverie goes in. Reverie arrives in the wolf den, um challenging their pack dynamics a little bit, but they're the same age. And then it's gonna be like, okay, okay, now you have like three children. Mom and dad now has like three children. This is like the uncle. This is also the uncle. This is also an uncle. And then they have three kids running around being menace. Especially her. She's definitely like the most menace of them all. It's like, ah, what do you mean? What is everything? I need to like go and be independent, but at the same time, why is my wolf telling me that you guys are important to me? Why is it telling me that you guys are important to me? Explain it to me. Like kind of that type of vibe. And Soren is like, yo, girl, chill. I'm human too. And she's like, you're human too? Okay, fine. Well, I find comfort in you. And then David, sorry, I'm just having fun. Whatever, it's fine. Look, um, this is so that's the whole like vibe of book one, right? I'll deal with you later, bro. So, Reverie enters the scene, and then it's David who finds her as well as Soren, like during like their patrols and stuff. And then Soren is like, "Whoa, whoa," or David is like, "Whoa, she smells different. She looks human, but she smells different. She doesn't necessarily smell like a wolf, but at the same time, she smells like a fox." What are you? And then Ruby's like Ruby was like feral, like rah rah. She's like trapped, by the way, by like a deer trap and stuff. Just one of them, and then Soren's the one to like calm her down. Then they form like an instant bond as well as him, and then comes like Beck as well as Adam. They're the ones who like got introduced first. So these three. You know what? Fuck it. There. Okay. There. Just because we can have like our playground. So these three like take them, introduce them to like the big brothers, and then Becca's like, "Oh my gosh, you're like so frail," and then that's how like let's have Reverie. So he's like endeared to them. Um, he finds his energy like okay. He's also like she's also like okay with this guy. This guy they like clash, so not necessarily, and then like they're kind of like standoffish. They're like kind of neutral to Reverie. They don't bond yet. Um, this guy is kind of hostile to Reverie because he thinks she is suspicious. Everyone thinks that she is kind of a fragile little princess, whereas Oscar like sees like the predator in her. But yeah, they do clash. So she's the most comfortable with Soren right now just because she's like the most familiar, like the most human of them. And then she clashes a lot. Like they just bicker a lot. These two are like pure sibling dynamics. It's literally just pure sibling dynamics. Whereas these two are kind of like, okay, I I will be like your buffer with the wolves if the wolves get too intense because I'm the most human of them all. Like kind of that vibe. But she is endeared by Beck eventually as well as David. David is like, yo, girl, I got what? What do you mean? From like having four brothers, I'm now the big brothers of three. Let's add another one. I just kind of want that to be David's character. Like, Gibson is like, another mouth to feed. At the same time, he's like excited about just new calculations and stuff. And he's like fascinated by Reverie. He's like, what are you? Like kind of like that. So he's fascinated by Reverie. He is hostile. He's annoyed. Reverie like reminds Reverie of like his foster brothers because Reverie grows up like in the orphanage and stuff. So yeah, there's that dynamic. And yeah, that's just them. And then that's book one. It's like just their family dynamics as well as talking about like the history of the Thorn brothers in order for us to fall in love with the Thorn brothers. And then book two is about her finally like being in heat. So they're adults now. They all should be the same size now. Hang on. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Okay, so alpha, same size, and then now it's gonna be like, wait, why does sister smell good all of the sudden? No, sister, why you smell good? And book two is about like reverse harem because I have to. I have to. So this is gonna be book two. Like literally, he's like the most aggressive. Kind of these two kind of take a step back as well as this guy. This is gonna be the dynamic of book two. So it's gonna be them kind of fighting with each other. He's still the alpha, so he's still bigger. But yeah, this is gonna be book two. Just kind of like romancing Reverie, so everyone's kind of like circling her a little bit here. But the main ones are the ones with the alpha blood. So these two are like the main rivalry. And then eventually uh Zachary becomes 21, so he does become bigger than Adam. It's already like foreshadowed, so he does get bigger. And then Adam is like, okay, fine, you're alpha now. I'm tired anyway, so he gets a little smaller. But this creates the divide between the houses with Becca's like, what do you mean? And Oscar is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I agreed to be in this pack because you're alpha. I'm not gonna submit to another alpha. Like kind of that vibe. Gibson is oh, and like everyone's like the North is also pursuing Reverie, by the way, because they found out about the Fox girl, the Wolf Fox hybrid because shenanigans. Um and yeah, they're trying to pursue her, so the pack needs to protect her, and like he's like very defensive passive, and he's very like aggressive, so it's kind of like the time to be aggressive um for the pack in order to keep Reverie safe. So the house is divided, so him being logical, he like sides with Simon being like the most logical approach here is to be aggressive, and then um Soren, since he's the one sorry, David is also like, yeah, I want some action now, whereas these guys are more like passive. So there's that. And then there's that. That's like the divide. And Soren like is neutral because it's like he's the Sigma Wolf, right? So he just remains neutral and remains objective about the whole thing. And this creates like Reverie to run away and get kidnapped while they like sort out the housing situation. And yeah. Actually, at first it's gonna be like them running together, and then that she gets kidnapped. She reports it to Adam first. Then Adam is like gonna chase after Reverie, and then David reports it to Simon. Sorry, Zachary. Zachary is like gonna like put everyone back together, and then yeah, and then they all decide to go to the city wherein they would meet Reynard. And Reynard is Zachary. Reynard is Reverie's first mentor. So Reynard is a fox, by the way. I didn't mention Reynard, right? So let's go back to this first since Reynard's gonna be there. Reynard is the antagonist for book three. He is a fox, using amber. He's a tall model, and he's literally like kind of a Black Widow type of spider. He's like manipulative, basically. I say antagonist and not villain because he's not necessarily hostile. He's just selfish. He's just really selfish, and if you notice like the theming for them, by the way, Reverie would always like prefer orange in her, like she would have an orange parka that would match like this guy's eyes, and he would always like be in velvet clothing to match her. Like they still have like that dynamic, and we find out in book 3, the big twist in book 3. So they're like fighting because the Luna needs to pick a mate, between all of the seven brothers, uh, she needs to pick a mate, but then, and or more specifically, to end the Cold War, the graph I showed earlier, she needs to pick at least either Simon or Adam. And the big twist of book three is that she is already marked by a fox. And they're like, what? And we find out that it's necessary for her to survive and for her to be stabilized, but then she would like reject, like, it's gonna have the resurgence again for. Okay, so book three, they escape to the city and they meet Reynard. Um, they have to navigate. Oh, I didn't write it here. We find out that um oh yeah, here the solar eclipse happened. So Reverie turns 21, the solar eclipse happens, so there's another shift in power, and she marks everyone as like the seven alphas. Therefore, she doesn't have to pick anyone because I don't want to pick anyone. I tried. Listen to me. Listen, okay? Listen. Sorry. I tried to justify this pairing because this pairing is definitely kind of endgame just because he's the alpha and he's like a Luna. I tried to justify that pairing, but my heart of hearts, the pairing is this or this. Like this pairing is so good because they're humans and like he just understands her, but in order for her to have her own character development, he cannot be here. This one as well, he's just sunshine and he like revolves around very like a puppy, but again, in order for her to have her own character development, he's not gonna be here. He's just like, yo girl, I got you. This guy is also like fascinated, but it's like a cold fascination, so it's kind of like a teacher student or kind of like a scientist experiment type of like character dynamic for the two of them, which is hot, but at the same time, they're not endgame. These two are hot as fuck. It's Predator and Predator, and honestly, Oscar is the one who is the most similar to Reynard, so she does find comfort in that, somewhat, but they're toxic, so he's not endgame. This is just lovely. This is lovely. If we want like a healthy character dynamic, this is definitely like the pair to go. But he's also like way too loyal to all of his brothers in order to pursue Reverie seriously. So he's the one who makes himself out because he's just Mr. Nice Guy like that. But if he tries, like Reverie is definitely gonna have him as endgame, but since he doesn't try, he can't be endgame. This pairing is the one that makes sense at first because he is the alpha, right? And she is the Luna. He's definitely the alpha and she's definitely the Luna. So we think that this is gonna be endgame, but at the same time, since like he like views this guy as his son and this guy as his son, and they both have the same age as her, it fucks with his brain a lot. Even though he loves her, like he loves her more so as a mate instead of as like a daughter. It just fucks with his brain. And like since they met, like he was 28 and she was 18 when they met, so there's no like grooming and stuff, but it's just fucking with his psychology. It's only when he stepped down as alpha and then this two became a pairing that these two actually made sense. because he's just the wall to protect her, like from his more aggressive tendencies. So this pairing made sense, and we still like think that it's still either or of this two, you know. And as much as I want them to be endgame, he's just way too aggressive for her. Like she can handle him for sure, but at the same time, he's just kind of he still needs a bit of maturing to do, whereas this guy is the mature one. So you have like that power dynamic there. But yeah, by the end of the book, she picks none of these guys and just made them all be alphas. Like she marked them and then she became like the lunar star, and that's why the title is going to be The Silence and the Eight Outlaws, because they're going to be the eight outlaws. That's the eight outlaws. And yeah, and then book 4, if I'm ever going to go and write book 4, it's going to revolve around David and like the relationship to Fenris. But for now, there's no she doesn't have to pick anyone because she's strong and independent like that, and she has like and they maintain their found family dynamic, and they just maintain their found family dynamic. They don't mate. uh it can like literally this problem can just be solved if like we add like another character, another female character, and then these guys would have their own mates eventually. But that's just how it goes right now. This pairing also low key, if I want like a toxic pairing, this is like the pairing of pairings for toxicity, because this pairing is so good. Honestly, he's just a manipulative bastard. This is such a good pairing though. Anyway, that's Wolf then. How long have I been talking? 1 hour 40. Not 1 hour. Almost 1 hour 40. I'm gonna end it there because I'm hungry, and that was fun. This method of storytelling was fun for me. But yeah, my brain is short circuiting now. So I'm gonna have a bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Stay healthy. I need to draw them soon.